Set off. Hundreds of items in stock and ready for delivery for a limited time only at Ashley Home Store.
Local 3 News. Coverage you can count on.
If you are hoping to land a new job in this new year, or perhaps you have a recent graduate who's looking for one, you probably know how important that first impression is. And these days, that first impression is generally the resume that comes across someone's email or desk. So we are very happy this morning to have Thom Fisher on the show. He is an expert when it comes to this topic. He has a company called RapidResponseResumes.com and a resume of his own to back up his words. So good to see you this morning, Thom.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So I'm talking to you, I'm hearkening back to my days at the University of Georgia, and I had this professor who told us that a trick when you would mail in a resume, if you wanted to get yours looked at in the news business, was to A, put it on slightly bigger paper, and B, make it a color. And that way it would get cut in half at that point on the desk and maybe have a chance to get seen. We're far from those days now. It's the words you put on there that matter, right?
Well, it sure is. Here's the scary statistic. Let's get it out of the way. Hiring managers and resume screeners spend, on average, only between 10 and 15 seconds looking over a resume. So someone's resume, young or old, only has just a short amount of time to catch someone's attention. So it's really got to be done quickly and effectively. And there's some tricks to do that. But that's all the time that you have. So you've got to really hit them hard right from the beginning, sooner rather than later, because there just won't be a later.
Okay, so would your advice to someone be kind of like going on a first date? Don't try to pretend that you're somebody you're not. So let the wording of your resume reflect your personality to a degree. If you're funny, let it show. If you're serious, let that show.
That's part of it. But I think also what a hiring manager or resume screener is looking for is they want to know right away what the person can do, what their background and experience is. So what I tell people is, even though we've all been taught to write, grammatically correct sentences, don't do that in a resume. Get to the point, and by point I mean bullet points. A bullet point is just 8 to 10 words, not only describing what you've done or what your experience is, but maybe something that you've accomplished, a metric you've met in the past, an honor that you've won. Hit them with that right away, because that's the only thing that's going to be remembered, since 10 to 15 seconds isn't a lot of time. So bullet points is really the way to go. It's a negative, I guess, but people don't read anymore. They just don't. My generation was brought up reading the daily newspaper cover to cover, but now we get our headlines just from a couple of bullet points online, and it's the same thing with a resume. You've got to hit them with what you can do and what you offer right away. Okay,
when you're talking to clients, and also I'm assuming employers, you know what employers are looking for. If
Yes.
you don't have a lot of work experience, if you are that new college graduate, but maybe you were a military family, so you traveled around all the time growing up, do you put adaptability on your list of things? Do you look at your personality to also show what you can do?
Absolutely, that's true. But ask yourself, and you have to turn the mirror inward. What is it that you do best? What do you offer? Forget about the specific role that you're applying for. What do you offer prospective employer? Is it that attention to detail? Is it the adaptability that you just mentioned? But even when you at the University of Georgia, by the way, congratulations on your national championship.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure that during your time in school, you did have some accomplishments. You did have some honors. People want to see what your background is, but again, you've got to hit them with that very quickly. So no problem I don't think it's a big problem if you haven't had a ton of experience or you're just out of school. Show the prospective employer what you can do for them. Their interest is their bottom line, but everybody has to have certain traits, like you just said, that really reflect that. And so, experienced or not experienced, hit them with that right away. Absolutely.
So when people come to your website, RapidResponseResumes.com, is there
Yes.
a way that they then connect with you on that website and kind of you have a chance to get to know who they are and cultivate then this resume? And are cover letters a thing anymore?
Cover letters are certainly still an important thing. You might read somewhere that they're not, but they certainly are. Why? because not every applicant includes a cover letter, which I find almost unbelievable. A cover letter allows you to embellish what's in that resume and go further than the 10 to 15 seconds that screener spent initially looking at your resume. So yes, a cover letter is very, very important, and that's really your time to you, the applicant's time to shine. That's maybe where some more of your personality can come through. Too often, Julie, a resume is just a boring confessional. At least that's how people write them. This is what I did. This is how long I did it for. What's going to set you apart from the competition? There's a great chance that a prospective employer is looking at least 9, 10 similarly qualified candidates. So you've got to set yourself apart. Here's something I want to add. Most candidates, when they've gotten an interview, don't send a thank you note. And that's incredible to me, but they really don't. So you've got 9 applications. They're all about the same qualified as far as their background. A thank you note, which is just good manners, by the way,
right,
might set you apart. And if that screener maybe doesn't have or doesn't want to move forward with your application for that position, creating that good impression with a great cover letter, a thank you note, is going to maybe encourage that resume screener to forward the resume on to somebody else that he or she knows,
right,
or maybe even somebody outside of their organization that they know. It just sounds so simple, but most people don't do it always, whether it's a text or an email or, God forbid, a printed document that you send by snail mail.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah. And that goes a long way towards making that impression, because that's a lot of work in this modern day and age to go to the grocery store, get a card, and then put a stamp on it. Who does that anymore?
Well, it depends on how serious you are, and it's going to show a prospective hiring manager that you really are interested and that you appreciate it. And again, it's just good manners. But again, short bullet points that are to the point in the resume, the good manners of a strong cover letter, which I help people with every day, and then just a basic thank you note. People like to be thanked.
They do indeed. So before I thank you for your time and let you get on with your day, just tell me this again. If people go to your website, which is rapidresponseresumes.com, they can begin that connection with you that way?
Thank you for asking that question. They sure can. And it's Rapid Response Resumes, and I'm going to put the word COMS at the end of Rapid Response Resumes. That'll get you right to me. And no cost whatsoever to talk to me. I often just do a quick draft for people to show them what I can do, because they don't know who I am. I've got to prove myself to them. I'm almost auditioning for them as well. But we try to, really break it down, come up with something quick and memorable. And the thing to remember, and the pandemic taught us this, is that change happens very quickly. So whatever you hear about the economy, good, bad, upside down, change happens fast, and you've got to be able to adapt fast. And you've just got to be able to stand out, and that's what I help people do.
All right. Thom Fisher, thank you so much for your time. And here is that website again. It's rapidresponseresumes.com. So you'll think you've typed in COM twice. You have. That's how it's supposed to be.
That is part of the
That's right.
The website. Rapid Response Resumes, COM, C-O-M-S. That's a little awkward, I realize,
right.
But sometimes with identification on websites, that's great.
There we go.
Julie, I'm just ready to help people. The resume is the only tool you have to set yourself apart in the job market.
Thank you, Thom, so very much for your time.
Thank you.
When it comes to your health, local matters. Count on Local 3 News for expert local advice to help you stay well, live better, and raise a healthy family. Watch Eye on Health with Latrice Curry, Thursdays at 5 on Local 3 News.
Presented by the YMCA.
Huck & Peck is in stock with thousands of pieces of furniture to deliver today. Over 125 sofas in stock. Or if you're looking for your unique custom sectional, sofa, or chair, our lead times are the fastest in the industry. Come see all we have to offer.
Special report.
Spectrum just launched Spectrum One, where Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and unlimited mobile come together to keep you seamlessly connected wherever you are!
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and one free line of unlimited mobile with no contract. Call 1-833-743-4999.
The Coopers here just got Spectrum One.
Why did you switch? Because Spectrum Internet delivers the fastest download speeds in the nation.
And the fastest Wi-Fi speeds.
Look, I can stream Spectrum News across all our devices.
And the advanced Wi-Fi has enhanced security and privacy features that automatically block online threats, keeping our family and devices safe and secure.
How reliable is Spectrum Mobile?
It's a super reliable service coast to coast.
And it includes nationwide 5G.
Switch to Spectrum One and get 300 megabit internet for $49.99 a month, plus free advanced Wi-Fi and one free line of unlimited mobile with talk, text, and data. Call 1-833-743-4999 or visit a Spectrum store today.
We want you to be a part of the Local 3 team. Come grow your career as a marketing specialist, helping local businesses and our local community thrive. To apply, email your resume to Greg Acuff at gacuff@local3news.com.
All rise. It's J. Hud Court with Judge Mathis. Then, remember this little queen? She is back with more moves. Plus, Chase Rice performs.
Sponsored locally by TVFCU.
So all this week on the show, we've had a chance to kind of have a financial literacy 101 week, courtesy of Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union. They've been funly calling it, that's a new word today, Know Your Dough. I was smiling because Tammy Zumbrin is back on the show, and she and I kind of had a quick eye connect, and I stumbled upon my words. But she's back with the credit union, along with Nick Townsend. So as we head into the weekend, a couple of days away, Nick is going to give us a homework assignment. Get a cup of coffee, sit down in the kitchen, and secure your money this weekend. So good to see you both.
Good to be here.
We're not talking really the credit union specifically, Nick, because the tips you're going to share are good for all of our digital protections of our accounts, whether it's money, whether it's your Facebook account, whether it's anything, right?
That's correct. You know, one of the things that we need to be conscious of in this day in technology is passwords are not secure. If you have a 6, 8, or 10 character password, those can be easily guessed fairly quickly with today's technology. What I would strongly advise people on is to use passphrases or multi-factor authentication mechanisms to help secure their accounts.
What does that mean? That's like the thing now where you type in your password, then it sends you a text?
Yes, it could be a text, it could be a multi-factor authentication application like Duo, or a token like RSA.
Some people, I have young, teenage and early 20s daughters, they, on their phones, for example, they do the face identification. I don't really like that, because what if I had to get on their phone and they couldn't be there to look at it?
That is correct. Face identification is one of the strongest mechanisms of security. However, you can use authentication bypass and still use your password or PIN number that you know.
Okay, so let's go back to those passwords. There isn't a single person watching who is not crying right now because you're saying that we need to up it and yes, really change them frequently and all of that. Do you need to have a different password for pretty much everything you do?
I would strongly advise having different passwords for different authentication systems, whether that's the utilities, that's the credit union, or if that's your school account, you should have a different password. However, you can make passwords easier to remember by using passphrases. Instead of having a 14-character password, you could use a sentence like "the blue fox jumps over the red hill." And that's something that only you would be able to remember, and that can be your password. And you can change that for each and every account you have. So if you went to UTC, you can say, "I'm a fan of the football program." That would be a great password if you were to integrate numbers, upper and lowercase letters, and exclamation points. But then, if you needed one passphrase for your utility company, EPB provides strong power. That could be another passphrase, and that's easy to remember for each and every person.
Okay. Because that's a great idea. Because those passwords, though, are so difficult to remember, I'm one who I always tell my phone, yes, save this password. That way I can just do it rapidly, right? Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Sometimes that's not necessarily a good idea.
I can see why.
Weak password systems or applications like KeyPass that store your password may not be secure forever. So if you store your password in your browser, that could be taken from you without you knowing. So I advised against storing passwords in browsers.
When Tammy, earlier in the week, we were talking about one of the great easy ways of using TVFCU is that you have people who have a lot of different fund accounts. I have a couple of different accounts. Mm-hmm. People have far more than I do, probably. So would you need to have a different password for each of those accounts?
You would not, if you use our mobility or our online platform, you would have one username to access all your accounts, and we encourage the multi-factor authentication mechanism.
Okay. Something else that you've said, and I've heard this from somebody else, just not official, you're official, is all those games that you see on Facebook, you know, tell us when you met your husband and your first date and all those things. Those are risky. Why?
They're extremely risky because the questions they ask are often password recovery questions. If you forgot your password and you hit the forgot password link, and it's going to drive you to a couple of predetermined questions that you've already answered, like where did you go to junior high, or what year was your mother born, or what is your favorite color. So when you see these activities, these quizzes, these games on social media, that's literally information mining. It's a social engineering tactic, and I advise everybody to stop completing those quizzes. Do not participate in those. And that's really for personal hygiene, to protect your security.
How, is there a rule of thumb about how often we should change passwords?
You know, that's a great question. Used to, it would be advised to change your passwords frequently, and the shorter passwords do need to be changed. However, if you use a passphrase that's 20 or 30 characters in length, you may not have to change that password until it's compromised or you feel that it's been compromised.
Okay, but back to your idea of using the sentences, which I think is
passphrases, yes ma'am.
Phrases.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. But if you do have one that, I support the UTC mocks or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have a number in there or a character in there.
You do. You can integrate the number 1 for the letter I, or add a special character. Or
you're killing me, Small.
And then we have to remember it, Julie.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Do you know that movie? Do you know The Sandlot?
I do.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, so should you have a notebook where you write all these passwords down?
You know, to each is his own, but, you know, if your passwords are written down, they can be stolen from you. They can be compromised unless you are protecting them. So
we're sunk is what that means, Julie.
That's why the passphrases are easy to remember. You really have to go by the authentication mechanism of the application you're using. I mean, if you had a 30-character password, they may not require a special character.
Okay, but wait a minute. So I'm going to think about my husband and me for a second, okay? And let's assume that, because I have my accounts, he has his accounts, we have some things that are joint. But if something happened and we needed access to either one of our individual accounts without the other one, you'd need to know what those passwords are. And if he's got one account where he's changed the password and it's Julie makes me so mad I'm never washing the dishes again, I would never have a way of knowing that unless he's written it down.
That's correct.
So you do have to have some written record, don't
you need to have a method to ensure that your spouse or whoever has access to your accounts if you need. If not, you can call for support. Every institution or application has an ability to recover the password.
Right, and if you're joint on each other's accounts, then if you call in and give all the proper identification, when you do that, then they're going to go ahead and give you information you would need on that account.
Yeah,
that's why joint owners are important. That's also why when you go to the doctor's office, it's good to have that other person when they say, can we let somebody know if there's an emergency. If you've given access to it, then they don't necessarily have to have your password. But that's a risk when you give your password to anybody, even when it's a family member. So,
and I know that you wanted this information to be just kind of universal application here, not credit union specific. But the fact that here you are, that's your job within the credit union, means that the credit union also is taking all of these measures to protect the investments of your members, right?
That is correct.
Absolutely. And I think you see that. That's why you're seeing everybody go into two-factor. And, it seems on our side, when we're not in that IT world, it can be very frustrating to think, oh man, I have to have another password, or I have to do this. But if we think in terms of that institution is really trying to just protect us, it gives us a whole different perspective on having to take those extra steps.
I'm going to have to wrap it up. I know that while you're the ITMs that are there, did I say that right? ITMs?
Yes.
The 7 to 7, where you can go and talk to somebody through the computer that's there. People can go in and still talk to real life people at the credit union. If they ever wanted to come in and just say, look, kind of guide me here to make sure I'm protected, can they do that?
We do offer assistance for some aspects of that. We don't want to give you technology advice. However, if you think that your account's compromised, we have a whole team dedicated to ensuring that your accounts are secure. Or if you thought you've lost your password, you just need to call into the call center and they will get you with the right team.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go buy a notebook now so I can write down all my passwords And then I'm going to have to sit down and change them this weekend because I have the same one for everything.
Just remember, past phrases will save you.
Yeah. I think I'd be kind of boring for a hacker because I just have the same thing for everything. Thank you both.
My pleasure.
I didn't really say that.
She didn't say that out loud.
I don't really. TVFCU.com. I'm digging myself a deep hole here. You can learn more by calling their main number, 634-3600. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll make my passphrase, Nick Townsend is really awesome, exclamation point.
It will get immediately compromised.
Seems like CBD stores are popping up on every corner. Make sure you choose a knowledgeable vendor you can trust, like the Hemp House. Choose from products that are locally sourced from farmers we work with directly. Our friendly staff will help you find the right product for you. The Hemp House on the North Shore, East Ridge, and Ooltewah.
Hickory Valley Retirement Community, offering a unique approach to independent living for Chattanooga seniors. From weekly church services in our chapel to a very well-appointed library, for more than 30 years, our residents enjoy an active lifestyle in a community that feels like home. Independent living residents can add on additional services, allowing them to safely stay independent. Come see for yourself what makes Hickory Valley unique. Call Allison for a tour today.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way.
Now get 0% APR financing for 36 months, plus $1,000 retail trade assist cash on the 2022 Ford Edge. Only at your local Ford dealer.
It's twice as nice at the new Mango's in Red Bank. Mango's showroom is twice the size. Twice the sofas and chairs, twice the dining tables, twice the lamps. More of all the decor that makes a house a warm, inviting home. Buy one item or the whole room. Mango's selection can update any room in your home. And don't forget the jewelry and candles for gift giving.
Come see us at Mango's.
Cute name, great prices for everything in your home.
When it's time for a road trip, you never want to leave your best friend behind. But what if your pet isn't excited about going and it's not even from your driving? The Hemp House has a variety of products for dogs as well. Visit hemphousechat.com for more information.
Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Get out there and enjoy the sunshine. What a beautiful afternoon we have in store. Tomorrow on 3+U, we're going to tell you about an event coming up in February. If you have a teenage daughter out there, to really build that self-esteem and give her some guidance as she goes through these difficult years. Also, Mark Warren's going to be here, a dietitian from Food City who gives us a wonderful healthy recipe. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
The new year is here, temperatures are dropping, and the colder weather can make you quickly realize just how badly you need new windows. Well, not to worry, West Shore Home has you covered. I'm joined by Kirsten from West Shore right now. And Kirsten, why might somebody consider starting that window project now?
So Joe, right now could be a great time to replace your windows because it's been cold outside and people are realizing which windows need to be replaced because they're drafty.
Well, Kirsten, homeowners might assume that now is not a good time to replace their windows because obviously you'd be opening up your home to all the cold air. So why shouldn't that be a concern?
So while we do open up your home for a few hours, what's more concerning is leaving windows